and this video is going to be the resources that I'm using with my preschool for the 2018-2019 school year. This is in collaboration with Lindsay from Mama Shmoo's Homeschool Reviews and several others of us that are jumping in and joining her in this. So go ahead and check the description box below. It's going to have the playlist with all of the channels participating in this collaboration. So I'm sure some of them are going to be sharing some of the curriculum they're going to be using. I am here to throw a curveball in all of that because I follow the Charlotte Mason philosophy, which is a little bit different. It's not so much workbook resource or workbook teaching. To fully understand Charlotte Mason philosophy, I recommend getting her 6-volume set. I've had this, I don't know how long. They have been reprinting them, and it would make it easier to hold the book open, because as much as I'm reading this, it's still hard to kind of read and follow without the book trying to snap on you. So I will link the series that I have as well as the series that have been reprinted. These are not cheap. You can get them on Kindle. You need to look in the description box for like Amazon online approved or something like that, because they are they have been reprinted without permission from Ambleside Online. But anyway, her philosophy, Charlotte Mason's philosophy, is short less, or let the children, you know, be themselves. They're born persons. Let them explore nature outdoors. And so what that's going to look like for the 4-year-old is a lot of read alouds. Right now, my daughter is very into princesses, and I hate with a passion Disney princesses. Sorry, Candace. I hate the fact that they sing and suddenly everybody's in love with them. I hate the fact that they see a beautiful face and everybody's in love with them. I am not a Disney fan at all. Ugh. But I do enjoy good literature. And so right now, my 4-year-old and I are doing A Little Princess. And no, it's probably not what she's expecting, but we are enjoying it, and it does mean something to her. I think for the princesses, she just wants to dress up fancy clothes because she's my girly girl. Didn't get that from me. But so read alouds are a huge part of this time. Going outdoors, and so she's got her bike, and that's a great tool to have for preschool, is your bike or your skates or whatever, and just go and see the world. Feel like you're on your horse. I don't know if your kids are like mine or like me growing up, but our bikes were our horses, or motorcycles depending on how old I was. It was just this beautiful time to explore the world in our imagination. And those are the great moments. And then just exploring nature. I'm in the middle of the desert. I don't have a wooded area. I don't have a grassy area to really go look at this stuff. But being out in nature doesn't necessarily mean that you go outside and are like, okay kids, we're going to learn today. What do you find? You don't do that. You're going to go out there and you're just going to let them explore and play Little House on the Prairie. And they start finding little things. They start seeing the ants. They start seeing the pill bugs, and you show them how they roll up into a roly-poly, which is what we called them growing up. And you watch the milkweed bug. I don't know if I have that right. I'm suddenly getting it stuck with a book that I really enjoy. You're gonna take that, and they see them mating, and you kind of explain, well, they're making babies right now. I mean, all these little tiny things that they're just opportunities that you're taking to teach them. It's not a sit down at a desk and we're gonna do our short lesson today, which is another Charlotte Mason philosophy. We're gonna do our short lesson of 10 minutes. Okay, we've done math, reading, writing, and you're knowing your ABCs, and you're learning your numbers, and you're learning your letters. Did I do letters, numbers, colors? Anyway, you're not doing that. You're just using these opportunities that are available to you through nature, through times, and all this stuff. Also, another at this time is you're really honing in on those habits, those good habits that are going to help them throughout the rest of their life. Yeah, I need a cup of coffee. You're going to be using this time to focus on those habits. So they take something out, okay, you're done playing with it, you went off and did this, you need to put your toy away now. You woke up in the morning. Did you make your bed? Clothes on the floor. Have you eaten a good nourishing breakfast, or did you just grab whatever was handy and called it breakfast? Okay, all these little things you're building in them. You're not having a lecture every time you give something to them or do something with them. They're just becoming a habit. In the book The Power of Habit, which is something that I absolutely love, that book, I will leave a link down below. I recommend everybody reading that book. That so much of our day-to-day life is built on habits, the things that we do without thinking. And if we set ourselves up for good habits, our brain triggers a reward process. So if you have a clean bed, your brain triggers, hey, I've got a clean bed and I'm going to appreciate this later if I don't appreciate the work that I put in now. You know, I've eaten a good meal, I feel more energized. You know, all these little habits trigger something in our brain that says this is a good thing. Even if we don't feel like it at the time, something else will happen later that keeps us going and doing things without thinking. And that's what you're trying to build in with your children, is just doing things without thinking. And the more that they grow, then the more that they can consider why they're doing this. I hope that makes sense. So all of those little habits you are building up, there is a list that I will leave linked down below that's like the 12 habits every child should have by the age of 6. And for Charlotte Mason, formal education didn't begin, I think, until the age of 6 or 7. So you've got your habits, and you're going to have your outside playing, you've got your read alouds, and for us it's Bible. Bible is a crucial part. You're learning to put it in your everyday life, that it's kind of how Jesus said, don't hinder little children from coming to me. So the Bible for us is an essential part of this time, because it's not something that they're going to get later. It's something that they're going to be having throughout their whole life. And for those that are not part of the Christian faith, it could be anything. You could be using inspirational quotes, something that puts them outside of themselves. Pre-K? Hi? Do you see yourself? Yeah. Where's John? That's John. That's John. That right there. Yeah. So we're gonna move on because I'm lost now. Alright, so other things that you want to include during this time is exposure. So during your read alouds, go ahead and read some of the Mother Goose stories, Dr. Seuss, poetry. My kids actually love the Tasha Tudor's First Poems of Childhood. I think and it's just got a bunch of wonderful poetry in there. Lots of children illustrations and things like that. I know a lot of people like Shel Silverstein and The Llama That Had No Pajamas. I don't have those books. I have what I have, and I use what I use, or I use what I have, and I just go from there. So I haven't found those at the thrift store yet. But we're doing that. We've got this time of art is wonderful, and this is the type of thing that I like to use for art, because my kids don't just like to do art, they like to copy passages. And this one isn't my daughter's, this is my son's, because I couldn't find my daughter's. I have a feeling it's in a backpack somewhere. But it's got, let's see, it's got places for words and picture, and then, okay, let me get a blank page for you. So there is a place to color and a place to draw, and then this is just really nice. We like to use these for our Bible journaling. And so art is definitely this time that they really love to create. People are just a #1 thing that my kids love to do. For art supplies, I would love to have had beeswax, crayons, and really good high quality watercolors, but we are not ready for that. We're still building up our good habits. But some of the things that I really do love are these paintbrush markers. They are colored, so they do it like paint, but they are a marker. And we have a yellow one, and a different color. So it was a pack of 5, and I absolutely love them, and I will leave them linked down below. But these are fantastic, especially when they want to do those watercolor things. Another thing my kids really love are these twistable crayons. I like this tip one. I got the fatter tip one to be more like a real crayon, and none of us like those. They just don't have the nice precise line that these ones do. And so these are another one that I have available for my kids. Let me show you a quick thing how I have it set up. So this is my dining room table, and I just have this little thing. I picked it up at Marshall's, just sitting here on the table, and it's always inviting and it's always welcome. This table is where I do everything. Okay, so I have that, and it's fantastic. It's great. Those are the tools that I have for their artwork, and it's just building it from what they want. Do I teach them anything particular right now? No. We have talked about how different colors will make more different colors and things like that, like the primary colors and the secondary colors. But it's not a let's have a lesson on this. It's more them observing me, so they're coloring and I'm doing it without a lesson. Kids learn most by watching, not by the words that most of the time they don't comprehend all these fancy things. What about those opportunities to teach them numbers and colors and letters and alphabets and things like that? Games. Games are my way. Day-to-day life is my way, and I talked about this in the tag that we did, and I'm going to leave that linked above. Somewhere. Started by kids. Some of the games that we play to teach colors. Uno. Get a little bit of Spanish in there too. Uno is a great game to teach the colors because you're shouting out colors as you're doing it. Yeah, you only got 4 colors, but seriously, you're going to start building it up. I have never had to teach my kids colors. Sometimes they'll come and be like, what is this color? And I'll tell them. And then I will actually look for opportunities to use that color later again. Hey, can you hand me the orange that we didn't maybe learn about? But you had asked me what color it was. Can you hand me the orange? And then they are to recall in their mind which one that was. And sometimes it's like, which one? And I'm like, well, we just talked about it. It was that one. I'm not saying that to her or him or whatever. I'm recalling, oh, it's the one that you asked me about earlier. Then I'm recalling to her mind what it is. Some of the other things that we learn with alphabet is learning to write everybody's name. Again, my kids love writing. I know not everybody is like that, and it isn't necessarily encouraged in the Charlotte Mason education because of the development of the child. You kind of want their coordination to build up. Not coordination, their skill. What is the muscles in the hand to build up for writing. But my kids enjoyed it, and as long as I teach them to hold a pencil correctly, and they're learning it from infancy. I messed up with my daughter because I thought it would self-correct, and I'm paying for it every day. But they learn to hold the pencil correctly. The second they pick that up, I'm on it. So that's one way that they learn to identify letters. Another thing is this Go Fish game that is at Walmart. They have the uppercase and the lowercase, and we play Go Fish with them. Again, so that's just another preschool resource that I use. Another thing that we do a lot of with my preschoolers are puzzles. I love, especially Melissa and Doug puzzles. They're big and they can see a big picture and they build up from there, and they're learning to identify little tiny things. I'm sure there is a blog post out there or some kind of research that'll show children doing more puzzles learn how to pay attention to details, or how this is really great for their brain. I don't really, if you want the research on that, I'm sure it's out there. Just type in the benefits of puzzles for preschoolers or whatever. But for us, it was always just a time for them to learn to sit quietly for a certain length of time, learning to pay attention to details, because this is yellow and this is yellow, but this has a little gold right here, and so you're going to want something with a little bit more gold or brown or green or whatever with it, and this has none. And so you're learning to pay attention to details, and that's really why I like puzzles. I keep them in these types of things because the Melissa and Doug puzzles, the boxes after a little bit just fall apart. But this is the solar system. I will leave a link down below with a few of my favorite ones that we do. When I wanted to film this video, I had this grand idea of just pulling the camera out and taking snippets of our day-to-day doing stuff with my preschooler. But the reality is, I don't think of pulling out a camera when I'm doing stuff with my preschooler. I am in that moment. And it doesn't make for a great YouTube video, but it makes for a really great bonding time with my daughter. So there's that. But we do a lot together. She will go grocery shopping with me, and we will identify different fruits and vegetables. She will count her pennies and nickels and dimes that I have in my change jar, and we're doing math that way. It's all these little everyday moments that start to build up this education in our kids' mind. We have such a progressive, if you want to call it that, view today of making sure that so many children are sitting and learning by this time that their brains are sponges. Okay, let's soak up this time. And more studies are being shown all the time that this is the greatest time for your kid to just be outdoors and learn that way, and learn with cooking alongside with you, which is another thing we do. These times, they are the ones that will create the foundations for a better learning education later on. It's not trying to cram everything into them. Charlotte Mason says to bring out the child, not to fill the child. And that is exactly true. The more we bring out the personality of the child, the more we can see how they learn. Some it might be more of the tactile, some it might be more of the listening and learning, some might be more of the observing. But we can't do that if we're trying to fit them into a mold of complete academic learning. What kind of person am I raising in the end? It's not for me to try to make me look good. My job is to help him become him and to raise him up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. That's my job. Part of it is the academic learning. But in the preschool years, that is not my main focus. My main focus is not to make sure that he has everything learned by kindergarten. It's not to make sure that he knows all of the shapes and letters and sounds and can read and all of the stuff. He's with me, or she is with me. They're with me all day. They will learn. I homeschool all of my kids. They will learn over the time to do this type of thing. And it inspires me so much to think of some of the people that we consider geniuses today. People like Einstein and Abraham Lincoln and all these other ones, and I can't bring to mind, I think I need more coffee. Can't bring to mind anymore, but all of these people that we consider geniuses didn't start out knowing the alphabet and to read by the age of 5. It kind of came later, but they had life experience to take with them. So there you go. That's going to be it for what I'm doing with my preschooler, and I hope this video is helpful to somebody out there. There's so much stuff out there that you can buy for your preschooler, and I will even say that even today I'm I'm homeschooling my 4th preschooler, I still end up buying stuff that I'm like, you know, this is not necessary. I still do it. But if you're a stronger willed person than I am, really, all you need is just to spend time with this kid. If you don't know something that they're asking, research it for yourself. If you don't know when the birds come out, look it up. If you don't know what bird you're seeing, look it up. That is also teaching them. It's also teaching them because they're observing you and they're going to start doing that for themselves. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this whole video. It's pretty long, even with my editing. And I will see you next time. And if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you would like to see more content, go ahead and click the subscribe button and my videos will show up in your subscription feed when I put out another video. Thank you. Bye.